वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः। एवं सततयुक्ता ये भक्तास्त्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरमव्यक्तं तेषां के योगवित्तमाः। मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेतास्ते मे युक्ततमा मताः। ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यमव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवम्। सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धय ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः। क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषामव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखं देहवद्भिर्वाप्यते। ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परा अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धरता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्। मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः। अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय। अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि। अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्। श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्। अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी। सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः। यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः। अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः। यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान् यः स मे प्रियः। समः शत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जितः। तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेता स्थिरमतिर्भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः। ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्दधाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्।
उपस्थित भगवत भक्तों के रूप में मेरी अपनी ही आत्माओं श्रीमद् भगवद गीता भगवान के मुखार बिंद से निकली हुई अमर वाणी है, और जो भी जीव श्रद्धा सहित इस अमर वाणी को धारण करता है, वो जीवत्व को छोड़कर ईश्वरत्व की प्राप्ति करता है। इसमें कोई संशय नहीं है। ये जीवात्मा चाहे जिस देश में रहे और चाहे जिस भेष में रहे, गीता सबका सब काल में समान रूप से कल्याण करने वाला एक अनुपम एवं अलौकिक ग्रंथ है। इस उपदेश को सृष्टि के आरंभ से ही सुनाया गया था। सबसे पहले इस उपदेश को सुनने वाले सूर्य नारायण थे, फिर मनु महाराज हुए, फिर इक्ष्वाकु महाराज हुए। इस प्रकार परंपरा से चलता हुआ ये गीता ज्ञान द्वापर युग में कई लाख वर्षों के बाद फिर से भगवान कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को सुनाया था।
Swami Gita Kiranji, we can start with your healing session.
शतवाप्रतीत्या जगत्प्रहेष्यात् त्यनुराज्यते च रक्षांसि पीता निदिशो रवन्ति सर्वे नमस्कृत्य Jatena Nameran Mahatman Kariyase Brahmanopyadikartre Ananta Devi Shajagan Nivasa Tvamaksharam Sadasatat Param Yat Tvamadidevaha Purushaha Puranas Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam Vedasi Vedyam Japaram Jathama Tvaya Tatam Vishwamanantarupa Vayu Yamugnir Varunaha Shashankaha Prajapatistvam Papita Mahascha Namo Namaste Stu Sahasrakritva Punasya Bhuyo Pinamo Namaste Namaha Purasta Tataprishtataste Namo Sute Sarvata Eva Sarva Anandaviriyam Mitavikramas Tvam Sarvam Samapno Shitato Si Sarvaha Sakheti Matva Prasabham Yadoktam He Krishna He Yadava He Sakheti Ajanata Mahimanam Tavedam Maya Pramadat Pranayena Vapi Yajavahasar Tamasat Kritosi Viharashaya Sanabhojaneshu Eko Davatya Jutatakshamakszam Takshamaye Tvam Mahamapameyam Pitasi Lokas Syajarājarasya Tvamasya Pujas Jagururu Kariyan Natva Samustya Vyatika Kutonyo Lokatrayepya Pratima Papava Tasmat Pranamya Pranithaya Kayam Prasadaye Tva Mahamishamidhyam Piteva Buddhasya Sakhe Vasakhyu Piyaha Piyaya Hasideva Sodum Adreshta Purvam Hishitosmi Drishtva Bhayena Japrat Vyathitam Manomi Tadeva Meda Shajadevam Rupam Prasita Devesha Jaganivasa Kiritinam Kadinam Chakrahasta Michhami Tvam Drashtumaham Tathaiva Teneva dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandve vimukta sukha dukkha sange gacchantya-mūঢ়ā paramāpyayam tat sarvasya chaham iti sannivishto mattah smritirvidya namapohanam ca vedesha sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta kitave davideva chaham nirmana moha jita sangha dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandve vimukta sukha dukkha sange gacchantya-mūঢ়ā paramāpyayam tat sarvasya chaham iti sannivishto mattah smritirvidya namapohanam ca vedesha sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta kitave davideva chaham nirmana moha jita sangha dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandve vimukta sukha dukkha sange gacchantya-mūঢ়ā paramāpyayam tat sarvasya chaham particle of the Supreme Lord. You are the light. Wherever you go, just shine brightly to everyone who meets you, to every life that comes to you. You will be helping the world and the universe. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Gurudev, Jai Gita Mata. Be the light, be enlightened.
Thank you so much, Gita Kiranji, Swami Gita Kiranji. Beautiful. I would now like to invite our Guru Bhai Joshiji to please take it over. Joshiji, over to you.
Thank you, Jai Shri Krishna. Let me have my file on. Can you check your file?
Now the floor is yours, Joshiji. Thank you.
I always have a problem getting my file on.
Please remember to keep moving your presentation also. Change your slides or your presentation.
Is it coming?
Yeah, there's verse 10. Chapter 4, verse 10.
Is me or something else? Am I there?
Yeah, Joshiji, you're there. We can read. You have put up chapter 4, verse 10. We can
Okay.
see it.
Thank you so much. Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. I always get goofed up on this one. So let's pray. Gurudev, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guru Namah. Vasudev Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahe Tejasvinavadhi Tamastu Ma Vidvisavahe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Before I begin, I want to request all of you to please register for our upcoming conference on Gurudev's birthday, March 17, 18, 19. And most of you have gotten the link. I will again send that link to all of you. I created a new WhatsApp group, so I will send after this program. So even if you have registered, please see if you can have your friends and other family members, especially youth, to register. That will be wonderful. That will be very good. Good seva to Lord Krishna Gurudev. And we were talking about chapter 4, Karma Sannyas Yoga. Before that, we talked about Karma Yoga. And most of us know Karma Kamani Avadikaraste Mafayesu Kadachana. Everyone knows the meaning of it. And simply said, we have the right to act, but not the results thereof. So we must learn in our daily practice to keep doing the right karma and don't wait for the results. Results will come anyway. So that is the main thing that we have to do. And a few weeks ago, Gurudev helped us know what kind of karma we should do. We talked about Yagyat karma. So we talked in detail about that. Yagyat karma means seva, satsang, and saskar. So every day morning, we requested when you get up in the morning, pray to Guru and Krishna and tell yourself, today I am going to find some time to do Yagyat karma, seva, saskar, and sadhana. So, next verse that we talked about, Yada Yada Dharmasya, I'm making it very quick. Okay, whenever there is a decline of righteousness and increase in unrighteousness, Arjuna, at that time I manifest myself on earth. So when we become the devotee of Lord Krishna, then you become the Arjuna. And now this particular verse is an instruction to you from the Krishna who is sitting in your heart. Sarvasya Chaham Hrisanniveso. And when you recognize and make Lord Krishna's presence in your heart, then he will do same thing what he did to Arjuna. He will help you get into righteousness and keep you on the right path. Every day, he is there. Now you are Arjuna and Krishna is in your heart, and he is going to guide you and keep you in the righteous path every time, every day, every moment. Then I also mentioned last time, Sambhavani Yuge Yuge. To protect the righteousness, inherit the wicked, and to re-establish the principle of Dharma, I appear on this earth, age after age. And also I made a little comment worth understanding. As far as Yuga is concerned, it's a measure of time, a scale of time. Every time we get up in the morning, it's a new Yuga for us. And we go to retire in the night, we are gone, retired. Again, we get up in the morning, it's a new Yuga for you, for all of us. And once you feel the presence of Sri Krishna, Gurudev, in your heart, he will protect you from thinking wicked thoughts. He will help you think the righteous thought so that you can really get to do Yagyas karma. That's Yuga. Yuga means every morning is your new Yuga. And that's what, think of you as an Arjuna and think of Bhagavad Gita as Krishna talking to you. And I think I got the new different slide, but that's okay. At one time, a person went to King Akbar. He needed some help, financial help. Most of us know about this story. So when he went there, he saw Akbar was sitting on the floor, keeping his hands like this, and requesting Allah something that he wanted to get. And that sannyasi was looking at him. That this big samsa is asking from his God something that he needed. And I'm coming here to ask for this beggar who is begging from someone else. Why can't I go directly and request and beg from the Almighty? So, my dear friends, there is some power, and you will feel that power more and more you dip yourself into Bhagavad Gita. You do some sadhana, you do some dhyan. Because with dhyan, you can improve your skill drastically. As I mentioned before, I keep mentioning certain things again and again because that has made a big impact on my life. And I mentioned that in early stage, when Gurudev and I were flying to Houston, he wrote down by his hand, Shreyo Jnanam Abhyasat Jnana Jnanam Vishesate Jnanas Karmaphala Tyagas Tyagat Shanti Ranam Saram. And he taught me how to take 8, 8, 8 and 8. And he really taught me that verse. And if you really go deep down to this verse, Dhyanat Karm Phalatyagas, with your dhyan, you make your skill very fine. Shreyo Jnanam Abhyasat. Before you do any practice, you must have the knowledge about it. If you drive a car without knowing how to drive it, you will get into an accident. Shreyo Jnanam Abhyasat. Dhyanat Dhyanam Vishesate. Better than dhyan is meditation, dhyan. Because with your dhyan, you refine, fine-tune your dhyan, and there is no level of how much fine can you do. So dhyan is very important, meditation is extremely important in our daily life. Then they say dhyana karma phalatyagas. Better than knowledge that is earned with dhyan and doing dhyana is what you do with this skillful understanding that you renunciate the fruit of the action that you do after getting very efficient. You get successful with this verse, and when you get successful, you must learn to do tyaga. Why? Ultimate goal of human beings is one and one only. How to be peaceful, how to have shanti, how to be happy. And with this expert earning money's renunciation will bring peace, because peace is right there. The moment you do the tyag, shanti, ranam, is right there. So the art of tyag, and that is a part of Yajna's karma. So whatever you earn, find some way to use that earning to help others who need your help. It could be your jnana, it could be your money, it could be your labor, it could be whatever that you have can share. Sharing, caring. So this session is usually used, as far as I am concerned, how person like you and me, we are same devotees of Gurudev, how can we use this in our daily life to make it better and better? And my experience is that more and more you get into Bhagavad Gita, even if you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, please open the book, read one page, half page, and you will find suddenly that your batteries got charged. It's a very alokik shastra, very supernatural shastra. Why it works? It works. It does work. And there are so many Western scholars who will go into this and write many, many volumes about this. Also, I was attending one global conference this last weekend, and very prominent scholar and yogi, Swami Bhomananji Maharaj, full name is Bhomanand Tirthaji Maharaj, was there. And my dear friends, he will be our English speaking speaker in our conference. And let me tell you, he can open certain closed almirahs in our hearts through Bhagavad Gita. A very forceful, very powerful, very straightforward teacher of Bhagavad Gita who can really get into you and do some change positively. And the topic of the talk was become magnificent performer. Whatever you perform, how to become magnificent. And one thing that he said was interaction with others, how we interact. And I get emotional when I think about this. Clearly, Lord says, Maya woman others were my buddhim nivesaya. He says, give your man to me. And you know that man is the owner of our 5 indriyas: eyes, nose, taste, listening, touching. All these 5 things that we use in this world is captured by your mind. And now once it's captured, you are imprisoned by the mind. Now you are a slave of the mind. So now what to do? The only thing you can do is give it to Lord and let him cleanse your mind, because that is his promise to us. And we have to be very, very careful how we use our eyes, what we speak, what we smell, what we eat. Very, very important. If we can learn the art of using our Dhyanendriyas, the 5 senses, our mind will become in right positive direction. And that's what Bhagavad Gita tells us, teaches us how to use these 5 senses. And that was the topic of Swami Momanand Tirthi's. I thought I'd share with you. Beautiful. So please register if you have not, and I'll send the link again after this meeting, and see as many people as you can get. I at this time thank very, very much about our newcomers and all the people that come every week. And when I see them, I get charged up. Before I start the session, and when I end the session after listening to Dr. Prasad, certain different volts of electricity pass through the system. And I'm sure you must all be feeling the same thing. So please do come. And one more thing that Swami Bomananji was basically talking about Isthisaprajna, how to be a magnificent performer using the examples of Isthisaprajna of chapter 2 and taking some more verses from various parts of Bhagavad Gita. And I'm sure this is available to you. You can go and listen to him. So at this time, I want to again thank all of you. Please tell more about this program. Come. This is for us. We share our feelings and we use practical message of Bhagavad Gita. And we get better and better, better and better. At this time, I want to have Darshana of Sri Hanumanji. I am a devotee of Hanumanji, and Gurudev also had a lot of feeling about Sri Hanumanji. Those who have gone to Gita Dham, is a beautiful statue or murti of Hanumanji. And when you go there and sit before Hanumanji, you get the energy and make you a better devotee like he was for Sri Ram. And I don't have to tell more, but we are all products of our vasanas. Vasanas are made out of our past many lives karmas, and we are hardcore programmed through those vasanas, and that creates our thinking process, which makes us different and uniquely different. And that thought keeps us desires, and with desires we get into our karma. And that karma keeps making us come back and back and back. And my dear friends, with the blessing of your Guru, with the blessing of Jagat Guru Sri Krishna, with the energy of Sri Hanuman, we can clean our past karmas using the Gyan of Bhagavad Gita. From Gyan, you can burn the karmas and become pure, like gold becomes pure through the fire. At this time, I will conclude and request Dr. Prasadji. I usually like to tell him Professor Prasadji because we really feel like we learn from him. It's a wonderful way to teach Bhagavad Gita, very analytical way to present it. And thank you so much. We are all privileged. And thank you all of you coming. Please keep coming. Same link every week. You can share that link to your friends. So Dr. Prasad, can I request you to please take it from here?
And thank you very much, Josiji. Thank you very much indeed. Let me share this. Vansi Vibhushita-kara Navanirdabha Pitambara Darunabimba-phala Darosta Purnendu Sundara Mukha Arvindanetrat Krishnat Param Kimapi Tattvamaham na jane Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna to all the devotees who are present here. If you recall, last week I had covered verse 31, 32 of chapter 3. Today I hope to share with you some thought on verse 33 and 34. The 33 verse talks about mainly Prakriti. The focus of our attention should be on Prakriti. In this verse, Sadrisham Chestate Swasya Prakriter Jnanavanapi Prakritim Yanti Bhutani Nigraha Kim Karishyati. This verse has three parts in a way. One, or the main one here, is Prakritim Yanti Bhutani. When we say Bhutani, I remember Maharaji talking about you all are here sitting Bhutani and Bhut. So all the beings in the world, they are in general called Bhutani. And Bhagavad Gita, full of them, many places you'll find this word Bhutani. So what Lord is saying here, Arjuna, Prakritim Yanti Bhutani. All the beings in the world, each one of them, they follow their nature. This is about, in general, every being. And then he stresses on Jnanavanapi. While on one hand, if all the beings they follow their nature, we expect Jnani to be above them, and as such, they should be able to go beyond the nature. But he says, no. He says, Sadrisam Chestate Swasya Prakriter Jnanavanapi. Jnanavan api. Even the men of wisdom, they chestate, that means they behave how? Swasya prakrite sadrisa, according to their own nature. You see, this is very emphatic way of convincing Arjuna and each one of them, of us, that the Prakriti or the nature what you are built up with, this is the one which controls you. And he says then, Nigraha kim karishati. What is the point in arguing about it? What can we do about it? How can you restrain it? You must follow, or we have no choice but to follow according to your prakriti. Now let us see what is prakriti here. We have known several times, we talked about it, but one of the ways to talk about is prakriti has two parts, pra and kriti. Kriti means that which is created. But when you say pra, that is pratham, the first time when the creation taking place for the first time, that is prakriti. And we all know that after the creation of prakriti, it goes through changes, anabharat, incessant changes taking place in this prakriti. So whatever you are prakriti, you have come in this world with some prakriti, and we all know, moment we call prakriti, it is combination of three gunas, sato guna, rajo guna, and tamo guna. I will not go in those, you all know very well indeed. So that whatever may be the composition, what percentage of sattva, what percentage of raja, and what percentage of tamasa you are born with, when after taking birth, whatever actions you perform, first thing that is guided by those guna, and then they go change. So changes are taking place at the level of prakriti. In the gunas, checking the changes are taking place in the composition of guna. What can happen? It can modify for good part or for the betterment. You may call it Sanskriti. When it's Sanskriti, it is a Prakriti modified, it is Prakriti transformed and transformed for a better, in a better direction. When we talk of Vikriti, it is same Prakriti but distorted, improperly manifested. It goes in a different direction. So either you improve the composition of your guna and add more of sattva in it, or you can go down and keep on adding more of tamasa in. So there will be vikriti or sanskriti. That goes on all the time. Example is given, a diamond. Uncut diamond, when one finds, that is the prakriti in the nature, you find uncut diamond. But that uncut diamond can be cleaned up and cut in a proper way, and the quality of that diamond gets multiplied, improved tremendously, depending upon the way it is cut. Or you can spoil it by cutting and you discard it. That is the one which goes down. Food, for example, if you fresh food comes and you eat it, you can further improve the quality of fruit, or if you allow it to rot, it will get rotten and it will go down. So the changes are taking place all the time. Lord is saying that this Prakriti is the one which guides, and all your actions are guided by Prakriti. These are, we all know very well about the vasanas, the sanskar you were born with. That is stored in the memory part of your antakarana. The memory part is stored. What is sound going on?
Please unmute yourself, Dr. Prasad. Please unmute. I just now just mute everybody, so you please unmute yourself too. Unmute your own microphone. Dr. Prasad, please unmute your microphone.
Your microphone needs to be.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, so the Lord is saying, Nigraha kim karishyati. There is no point at this stage to restrain yourself. You by restraining yourself, you cannot improve the quality of your nature, because nature, Arjuna was also obliged to follow the nature. He has no choice but to do it. And Lord is saying, as you know, in chapter 18, Lord says, Yadahankara mahasritya na yotsayati manyase mithyasa vyavasayaste prakritis twam na yokchasi. It is your prakriti, your nature will force you to perform action. If you, because of ego in you, you decide not to fight, this your resolve will go vain. You will not be able to succeed that way, because your nature will drive you to fight. This is chapter 18. So this is emphasis on our part that at the level of Prakriti, you cannot do much. You will have to follow. You may change that because of your actions. So if it is Tamoguni, he will act according to Tamoguna. You can't do much about it. But by your action, if you are improve the quality here and reduce the quantum of Tamogun, add on to Satogun, then your activity will be accordingly improved. Another verse, Lord is saying, Swabhavajena konteya nibaddha swena karmana kartum nekshasi yanmohat karishesha vasopitat. O konteya, that which out of delusion you do not wish to follow, you shall do, bound by action born of your nature. So how does nature influence the mind, the senses, and their interaction with the sense objects? See, Lord is taking us in that direction. He's slowly building up. And he will say, Atakena prajuktoyam papam charati purusa. He was going to lead by giving all these things. He's leading us to understand. Arjuna will ask question. Atakena prajuktoyam papam charati purusa. Oh Bhagavan, please tell me, what is that which forces the individual to commit sin? Sin, even if he is not intending to do this, by some impulse. And that impulse, Lord is trying to say, is because of the nature. We'll come to that later on. But let me take you through this part when Lord, in the next verse 34, when Lord is talking about interaction between sense and the sense object. He says, Indriya indrasyarthe raga dvesau vyavasthitau tayorna basma gachat tauhasya paripanthinau. Attachment and aversion for the object of the senses are rooted where? In senses. It is in senses that this reaction, positive or negative, either it is raga or it is dvesa, it comes in, they are in the senses, because senses are having the composition of Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun transferred according to one's Prakriti. It goes to the senses. So the senses which has antenna outside, receives the information from outside and react, this interaction between sense and sense objects take place because of the quantum of the gunas in Prakriti, which imparts its value onto the senses. So Lord saying that these reactions, attachment or aversion, raga or dvesa, for what? For the objects of senses in the environment, outside world, worldly things you come in contact, they are in senses. Man should never come under the sway. For what a wonderful word Lord is saying here. These are two stumbling blocks on his path. That is on the path of spirituality. Your progress in the path of a spiritual path, it will be hindrance. They are the stumbling block. See, what happens, we all know, we have gone through, but it is important that we go through again and understand and remember and apply. What happens? There is contact of sense with sense objects. Dhyayato visyan punsta sangasya supajayate sangat sanjayate kamah kamat krodho vijayate. You know those 7 steps to destruction, that verse 62 and 63 of chapter 2. So what is happening? The emergence of thought process, because the moment there is a contact between the sense and sense object, there is a generation of thought. That generation of thought may lead to either aversion or attachment. So 2 things are happening. Just a little bit of explanation I will give here. There are 2 aspects. When the thought process come in, when the thought process is generated, there are 2 things that are happening. One is what is called vritti, and other is called phala. The vritti is generated, which is the part of Prakriti, while this phala is the part of Brahma, the reflected consciousness that I dealt with some time back. We talked about Chidabhasa, if you remember. That reflected consciousness, from as it comes onto, shows light or shine on the Antahkaran, then that follows the path and interaction gives the fruition, the resultant. I will explain better in this way. If you see this is a diagrammatic representation of the fact which I'm trying to explain. So please follow me what I'm trying to say here. These senses, eye is representing our sense organs. It can be ear, it can be nose, it can be tongue, it can be skin, all those senses. And this is the lotus flower. This is sense object. Normally what happens? When you see a flower outside, and if you have seen the flower before, then what will happen? The mind will, the impression of this flower will go to the mind. Mind will send it to the memory and ask, do you recognize this? And this then gives the information to the eye. Yes, I know, I have seen before, this is lotus. But if you have not seen a flower before, a new object, flower is just an example. If you have seen somebody who you have never met for the first time, when you have seen for the first time, you will not react. But if you see Swamiji in front of you, you immediately fall on his feet. That happens very instantaneously. But I tell you, a tremendous amount of activity goes on, because I is inert. I is not, if there is no connection from the brain, just physically, for example, if there's no connection, the eye is there and something is in front of it, it cannot see because the power is not given. So if there is no power here, if it is disconnected here, you may have the object at the senses, before the senses, but the sense will not recognize it because it has not the clearance, no connection from the brain, from mind, and as such, there is lack of communication. So it is very important there is this reflected consciousness. There is a power is given to the eye to be able to get the impression of this flower on itself. It will transmit to the brain, to the mind. Mind will then pass on to memory. Well, it is the memory, the impression of that flower is there, or impression of somebody is there. Once it goes there, then say, oh yes, I understand. This is lotus. And then you will say, oh, this is so beautiful, or flower. Or if it is bad, you say, no, this is bad. Some flowers smell very bad. So you don't, so there is aversion. So attachment and aversion both take place because of two phenomena. One phenomena, this component has two phenomena. One is called vritti vyapti and other is called phala vyapti. Don't worry about the name and nomenclature. That is not so important. Important is to realize, understand that there is although things are happening very fast, there is this phenomena of interaction between jara and chetana. Without chetana, this is no good. This doesn't work. So in order for this to work, there has to be power from Brahma, and that is in the form of this phala vyapti, that is the illuminating power of Brahma. The illuminating power from Brahma gives rise to this phala vyapti. It then leads on to the recognition. It is removing the ignorance of the object. That means it will then remove the ignorance that I do recognize this. So the ignorance is removed, it is recognized, and then the reaction takes place. It can be then, once the thought process comes in, reflected consciousness is important, very important. Without the power of Brahma, without the power of the consciousness, this inert substance cannot create these thoughts, and it can neither be agreeable and can not be disagreeable. In this way, if you, by your effort, dissociate yourself, here I am talking of connection. If you disconnect with the world, you are with the Brahma. Simple fact, at the moment my mind is connected to my senses and I am seeing objects outside and I react this way, that way. Lord is saying, don't go after it. Don't be swayed by these reactions. You dissociate here. You cut it off. You have the power to do it, but you ignore it. Don't let things come and don't bother about it. So you have to somehow dissociate from it. There is a similar thing has been asked by a student to his guru in Keno Upanishad. Kene svitam patati presitam manaha. By whom willed? Kena, kene sitam, by whom willed, patati, falls, what? On mind. By whom willed and directed does the mind light upon the object. See, the mind lights up the object. If the mind is having this power of Brahma, that is lighted and recognized. Lord is then in this verse telling what is his advice. It's a bit busy slide, but let me go through and I will finish up with this slide today. See, Lord is saying those attachment and aversion are stumbling blocks. This has to be, we have to recognize that. Lord is saying that these are the hindrances, attachment and aversion. So he says, don't come under its sway. But just by telling and hearing, how do you do that? How do you dissociate from this? Lord is giving us so many ways how to dissociate yourself. At sense level, at the level of senses, avoid contact with the sense object. First thing is that dhyayato visyan pungsa. What happens when you see an object, then your eyes are getting in contact. You avoid it. If you avoid, then there will be dhyayato visyan pungsa sangat se upajayate. Sanga, an attachment, is generated because of your dhyana onto it. Because you have associated your senses with the sense object. Cut it, sever it. Don't let the senses get attached to the sense objects. That is the withdrawal. Then there is a discipline. Lord is saying, discipline the senses. Indriyani pramathini haranti prasabam manaha tani sarmani sanyamya yukta asita matparaha. You discipline your senses. That is the first way is to withdraw your senses. Second, he is talking about discipline your senses. You tani sarvani sanyamya. One step more he goes. Control the senses. Tasmat indriyan yadav niyamya bhartarsava. So there is sanyama, there is niyamya. Then he goes one step further. At the sense level, restrain. At the prakriti level, he said, no, nigraha kim karisati. But here he's saying, in tasmad das mahabahu, nigrahi tani sarvasa. Look at the beauty of Lord giving the direction. There is no point you're fighting at the level of nature, but do fight with your senses. Restrain it. Restrain the nigraham indriya sindhya sararte tasa pragya pratisthita. His knowledge is steady, whose senses are completely restrained from sense object. So you can withdraw your senses, you can discipline your sanjama, discipline your senses, you can control your senses, and you can even restrain your senses. I think I will stop here. Thank you very much for listening. We will continue, if permitted, to continue further next week. Thank you very much. Jai Sri Krishna.
Jai Sri Krishna. Thank you, Dr. Prasad ji. Joshi ji, over to you.
Thank you so much, and Dr. Prasad ji, we really appreciate you take upon these last few slides again, because they need to be sunk back in our heads. They're very beautifully done. So last 3 slides, if you can bring it back to next week, that will be wonderful.
Sure, I will do that.
Thank you very much, everybody. And we are coming from all over the world. And I thank everyone. And in particular, my nephew is traveling in Thailand right now, Vijay Vyas, and he joined us. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Saktiji. Please come as often as you can, come more. And we'll be talking again. We'll make some improvement in the program. I'll be discussing with Gita Karanji, and for the Peterji and make it better.
Okay, Joshi ji, Jai Shri Krishna, Pagela Gusa.
हाँ सर बोलो सब जय श्री कृष्ण सर
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri
Jai
Krishna.
Shri
Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna, everyone, and thank
Jai
you.
Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai
Jai
Shri
Shri
Krishna. Jai Shri
Jai Shri
Krishna.
Have a nice week to go.
Yeah, Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, both.
शक्ति जी जय श्री कृष्ण
जय श्री कृष्ण जी, कैसे हैं ब्रो जी?
बस कृपा है आपकी शक्ति जी
जी धन्यवाद।
दर्शन हो गए आपके
आपके भी जी।
Okay. Good
Okay,
night.
sir.
Pablo,
ओके
and
ओके ओके जोशी जी पगेला सा जय श्री कृष्ण सा
जय श्री कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण तो